Hi, welcome everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf. We've got a brand new product here for you, or 3 new irons to review for you here, and it's a new Mizuno 919 series, the JPX. So these are superseding the 900 series, and we've got the Tour, the Forged and the hot metal irons. So 3 new irons we're going to hit, we're going to test, we're going to give you some feedback on its looks, feel, maybe what type of player each irons is sort of aimed at. We've got GC2 HMT set up so we can look at some numbers and see what the differences are between these irons. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Tour head first. So, as I say, we've got the Tour, the Forged, the hot metal. So Tour's generally the more sort of compact, thinner, sort of smaller package sort of head. The the Forged is sort of middle iron there. You still got the Forged head, but a little bit deeper cavity there, a little bit better on your miss hits. Then your hot metal is a non-Forged product. Bit bigger sole, bigger top edge, bit more confidence in sparring, and obviously a little bit more forgiving yet again. So hitting different levels of sort of golfers are in, and maybe in terms of looks and feel and also performance. So we're going to start off with the Tour iron first. So obviously this is more, as the name, it's more Tour inspired here, so very sort of neat package, and definitely sort of see that as we put that down by the golf ball there, it sits beautiful. I mean, Mizuno do make great irons, and these are absolutely no different here. First of all, when I look at that Tour head, so very little offset, if any at all. Top edge is a little bit thin there, so it's sort of medium to thin top edge. It's like a sort of like a white satin sort of finish on it, which is a little bit of a nicer finish to the previous 900 Tour for me. I think that was like a little bit of a blasted finish. Didn't quite look finished off, if that makes sense. A little bit sort of raw. This looks a little bit more quality finish about it, to be honest. Similar sort of design in terms of the back, got that small little cavity in here across the back, so you have got a little bit of forgiveness here. Mizuno's saying this is very stable for the size of the head. So sometimes when you associate the Tour head, and that word Tour generally means it's small, it's compact, it's less forgiving, it's for those better players who can strike the ball, and definitely agree with that. But Mizuno's saying this is quite consistent on the miss hits in terms of distance control. So we'll be interested to see if I do miss hit a few. I'm sure I will. So going to start off here. I've got myself set out at 176 yards from the flag. This is a 7-iron lofted at 34 degrees, so it's pretty standard on the lofting, or we'll probably say weak for nowadays loft. So let's get this first one here. Okay, that felt nice. A little bit low in the face, but the flight was very high there. Definitely no issues of getting that airborne. 164 carry. So like I say, didn't quite get all of that, but felt nice. We're gonna see some great feel. Or I'm gonna sort of feel some really good feels here. You know, we know Mizuno are quality. These irons forged are made out of a block of steel here, which I think in itself is just truly amazing how they sort of produce these irons and the forging process. And you know, as Mizuno's strapline is, nothing feels like a Mizuno, and I think as soon as you pick up and hit a Mizuno iron, it just feels very different to anything else. It's just the feel of it is just absolutely superb. Yeah, again, that was a really solid feel, definitely high flight. I expect this 34 degrees. I've lost, this is going to launch high, and I'm guessing this spin number is going to be on the higher side here with that extra sort of loft. So we're not probably going to see huge distances here, which we're not straight away, so sort of mid 160 carries here. So not huge difference of distance here in terms of being stronger, but definitely more feedback through strike, through feel, through performance in terms of consistent spin. I'd expect to see that. This is the type of irons that are definitely more aimed at giving that consistent spin number, and obviously ultimate control when that ball comes into land. Just a little bit pulley on that one. Felt solid again though. Just left side of the green. Strike was good enough. Again, stopping really quick, 169 carries. Again, it's not the longest iron out there. That's spinning just around that sort of 7,000 mark. So it's a good sort of high sort of spin number. Now, JPX 900 Tour, sorry, 919 Tour, should I say, is offered in a 3-iron through to pitching wedge as an offering here. So with that weaker loft, you can obviously put that 3-iron in there. I think the 3-iron coming, check numbers there, 3 irons coming at loft at 21 degrees. then obviously runs through to the pitching wedge, which the pitching wedge is 46 degrees. So very true loft there in terms of 3 through to wedge. And obviously through custom fit, you can have what you want. You can drop the 3-iron out, put maybe a fly high in if that's an option for you, or if you prefer that. Yeah, good. Lovely high soaring ball flight there. Again, just left edge of the green, just pulling those fractionally for me. 171, carry touch more out of that. Okay, right, okay, so what we'll do now, we'll jump, keep the same shaft. These are all spec'd up to me, by the way, so I'm going to keep the same shaft. I'm going to switch the head over and go into the forged head. Okay, so we've now got the 919 forged head here. So this is the middle iron of the 3 that Mizuno are offering. As you would expect, the head size has gone a little bit bigger here, slightly thicker on that top edge, tiny bit more offset there, but again, very minimal. And obviously a slightly bigger cavity, slightly wider sole at the bottom. So more forgiveness here, cavity's deeper. We can see that weight's now shoved more into the sole, into the toe section. So we can see probably some more forgiveness here. We've still got the forged head. Okay, now Mizuno is saying this is the most versatile iron they've created in terms of distance here. But in the look and obviously the feel that you're getting with forged head. So we're seeing that little trace of boron in the steel here, which Mizuno claiming makes it 30% more stronger. So allows them to do or venture into more creative design in terms of shifting weight. They can do a little bit more with it, maybe against like the Tor iron, which is obviously a lot more sort of simple in the back of it. So they can play around with weighting a little bit here to help with that sort of distance here. 7-iron again, lofted 32 degrees, so it's 2 degrees stronger than the Tor head. Oh, feels lovely. That's a nice opening shot. Again, nice high ball flight there. No issues of flighting that in the air. Kept myself out the same distance from the flag here. That carried at 169 there. So nice little opening shot. So possibly expect to see maybe a little bit more length with this against the Tor, with the 2 degrees stronger on the loft. Lovely. Lovely ball flight. Now, I didn't quite middle that, I didn't get all of that, but that didn't really affect the way that ball flighted, 171 carry there. So I think that level of forgiveness there, I quite like. That's quite appealing to me because I've still got a very nice look behind that golf ball. Yes, it has gone a little bit long from heel to toe. Yes, the top edge has gone a little bit thicker, but I'm not seeing loads of offset there or minimal offset there. I've still got that feel, so that feel off the face sounds superb. Now we're talking about boron here, and the comments I've had maybe when I did the 900 forged sort of review there is a lot of guys felt like the boron in there actually took away from that classic Mizuno feel. I'll tell you what, better feel than I've got because I can't feel that. I mean, that still feels as good as that Tor there to me. It doesn't feel harder, hotter, faster off the club face. Obviously we've got a 2 degree difference of loft here, which we've got to take that into account. But as they're pulling weight a little bit more away from the club face here with the slightly wider sole there, you know, they've got to strengthen those lofts to keep this in a similar sort of trajectory. So it'll be interesting to see how this launches against the 900 with it being 2 degrees stronger. It's good. Yeah, nice, really nice. 173 carry. So starting to see a little bit more, a few more yards out of that against the Tor, as I say, probably with that loft here. Now in terms of the offerings here, they've dropped the 3-iron out of the forged offerings here. It now starts from 4-iron because obviously his lofts have gone a little bit stronger, so the 4-iron is coming in at 22 degree, running through to a pitch wedge. Now having said that, the pitch wedge is still 46, same as the Tor, so they've gone some slightly different gap in through the set to make up into that sort of 46 there with a pitching wedge, but then they offer a gap wedge at 51, so which is quite a popular one I think for the guys who maybe want that a little bit more forgiveness, want to put a gap wedge in there, keeping the same look. Then I think they probably would do that in the forge. Maybe in the Tor you'd then be into like the sort of specialised wedges in a way in terms of going to gap, sand and lob. Right, okay, that was a bit of a toe strike. Visually, that's done all right. I can feel like I've hit toe. Let's see what that distance. Yeah, see, that's done all right. So that was a pretty heavy toe strike then. That's still gone 171 spins dropped maybe a tiny bit there because of that sort of slight toe strike there. I think what will be an interesting one here, and this will be probably a popular one, I think if you guys go into that tour iron, they might sort of think about the forged version in the long iron. So replacing that tour, maybe 3, possibly even 4 iron there with the forged version. So that little bit bigger head, a little bit more forgiving, a little bit easier use in that long iron. Because I'm guessing that tour iron, I've not got a 3 or 4 iron here with me, but I'm guessing it's going to look pretty small, pretty daunting there. So you might see him jump into this forged head to give you, still got that forged feel. Very similar look, obviously it just goes a little bit bigger, a bit more like a driving iron, maybe look, switch comparison there. But a little bit more forgiving in terms of those longer irons and a bit easier of use for you. So I think that'll be a really popular option. Okay, so let's jump into the hot metal, the third one here, and we'll see how that one performs. Okay, so we're now in the hot metal iron here. So what we see here now is a larger package, larger head, larger sole, bigger, thicker top line, much more offset than the previous 2 models we looked at, and now we lose that forged head. So we've got a material called chromola here, which is basically allows them to make the head a lot sort of stronger, so create more speed off the club face. So Mizuno saying this is very sort of fast off the face. Longer hitting, much more forgiving, but also a very controllable landing profile here, which would be very, very interesting to see, because sometimes we see when we lose this loft, this is 7 iron coming in at 30 degrees, when we lose that loft and that stronger, we do see still some high ball flights, but we see a big drop in spin and a hard controllable ball when it comes in to land on that green. So again, I've left myself out 176 from the flag, and we're going to hit some shots with this. As I say, this is 30 degrees, so it's a good 4 degrees stronger than the tour and 2 stronger than the forged. Let's get this first one hit. Okay, and again, flight wise, that's high. Okay, it's as high as the others. That hasn't changed. I didn't get that perfect. That's a little bit heavy. That's gone 181 there. So straight away, we've seen a jump in distance there. Now, putting that down by the ball, as I say, definitely see more offset. See a very confident, inspiring head here. It's large. It feels like I've got a lot of buffer here. The thick edge has gone very sort of thick here now. So I know, you know, there's a lot of give sort of behind this head. And to be fair, it looks a little bit like a sort of hollow head here, and they've actually infilled it with that little sort of like a badge there in a way, which makes it look hollow. I'm guessing that cavity is a lot deeper than what it actually visually looks. So when you look at it, it doesn't look huge, deep cavity there. It looks quite similar to the forged head in terms of the back appearance to it, but you know, under that is going to be a little bit more room, and obviously that cavity does get big as the sole gets a lot thicker. Oh, that's lovely. Hit that one well. Again, it's high, it's towering. Looks like it's going to come in pretty steep there. Be interested to see how that stops. Looks to be stopping pretty quick. I think it's carried 183, so definitely jumping that distance. That one spun just under 6,000. That's not bad for a strong lofted 30-degree iron in a 7 iron spinning at 6,000. That's not bad. I have seen some spin obviously a lot lower than that. And I think the descent angle that comes into land, I think I feel quite confident that's going to actually stop there. So maybe sort of backing up what Mizuno's saying here in terms of a very controllable descent angle into the green. Okay, that was a little bit on the heavy side. That wasn't perfect strike. Again, it's got up there and out there. So not dropped off huge there. It's only 177, so probably 5-6 yard sort of drop off. Spin has dropped to 5.3 there. Again, I caught that a little bit on that heavy side there. Now, first thing I definitely feel there between the tour and the forged is the feel off the club face. Definitely noticing it's now non-forged. The feel off there, you know, going away from that beautiful buttery Mizuno feel now into more of a louder sort of sound. Now, don't get me wrong, it's by no means too loud. It's just obviously a big comparison to those awesome feeling forged irons from in the tour and the forged. So the sound is different, the feel is different, but again, maybe for the player who this is more aimed at, which is probably more sort of mid to high handicap golfer, that sort of forged isn't as maybe up there in the priority list as maybe that single figure golfer. So plus with it not being forged, they can do more with the head. They can shift that weight around and get that ball speed a little bit quicker for the golfer who wants to get that ball speed up and get that distance up a little bit more. just leaked that one a little bit. That's going to be a little bit weaker again. Just going to catch that right edge of the green. Just hanging on there. 180, that wasn't bad for a little bit of a weak one to the right there. Okay, right, so there's 4 shots hit with that. Let's go and look at some numbers between the Tor, the Forged, and the hot metal and see what the differences are, maybe how this might sort of suit into your particular game. Right, okay, let's look at some numbers here. So we've got the Tor, the Forged, and the hot metal here. So looking at ball speed first, you can see the Tor at 122, 124, and then 127. So see an increase of ball speed there as we go through those irons there. Again, obviously the loft scenario would change that more than anything. Launch is changing, but not massively compared to the lofts, I would say. So 20 degree to 19.3 to 19.8. So not a huge difference between the 34 degree at 20 degree launch against the 30 degree 7 coming out 18.9. There's only 1.1 degree difference of launch. So again, this is how CG moving around per iron will change or make the ball fly high, even though the loft is changing by up to 4 degrees there, which is quite interesting to look at. Look at its spin number there. So we see the Tor at 6929, and then we see the Forged at 6841, and then the hot metal at 5884. Now we've just had that third shot where I caught heavy, so that pulled spin off there. So probably just pull that average down a little bit. I think if that was a decent strike like the others there, it'd probably be around that sort of 5,900 to 6,000 sort of mark. So probably just pull that down. So maybe averaging that near around that 6,000 mark, which is good for a strong lofted iron. That's pretty good. The others are where I'd sort of expect it to be. Maybe thought the Forged might be a little bit lower spinning than what it was at 6.8. Maybe a bit of a difference between the Tor there, but not, which is good. Again, that's something appealing to me. If I want that little bit more forgiveness, then the Forged iron, great, but I'm not going to sacrifice spin too much, which is good. So coming into descent angle here, so you see 38 degrees coming in, 38 and 39. So you see even that hot metal, the strong loft, launched in the lowest, it's actually coming in, it's peaking at its highest because of the ball speed, but then it's also descending quite the peak out at 39, they're descending very similar to the others there. So it's not changing the descent angle coming to line, which is what Mizuno sort of saying a little bit there. So 168, 171 and 180 to carry. So not a massive difference between the Tor and the Forged. A little bit more as you expect with the loft, but then a big jump there as maybe change of material, hotter off the face, again with a little bit less loft, is adding a little bit more difference of a gap in there between the Forged and the hot metal. Okay guys, so there we go. There's the 3 new Mizuno irons, the 919s in the JPX range with the Tor, the Forged and the hot metal. So I think going forward, I would probably predict I'm going to see a little bit of blending happening. I think guys will definitely blend the Tor and the Forged irons. You know, subtle little differences of loft there, but the feel's the same. The look's slightly different, but not massive. So maybe those long irons in the Tors will replace with the Forged ones possibly. I can't see many blending the Forged with the hot metal. I think there's too big a difference of the feel for starters, the looks, and then also that ball speed jump there is quite a bit more. So yes, the lofts are a little bit stronger again, but the difference between the Tor and the Forged against the Forged and the hot metal I think will be much bigger. So I don't see that blend happening as much there, but obviously there's options to blend. Now in the hot metal it runs from 4 iron again, which is now at 20 degrees, so obviously the lofts get stronger, running through to pitch, gap, sand and lob. So they offer the whole lot there apart from the 3 iron in the hot metal sort of version. So definitely irons there, 3 irons which I think are hitting the huge audience there. You've got the Tor inspired Tor head against the hot metal there for the sort of guy who wants the speed, wants the forgiveness, wants the launch. Okay, so I think again 3 great irons as you'd expect from Mizuno. The Forged ones feel absolutely out of this world. Hot metal obviously doesn't because it's not forged, but it's definitely ticking a box for that golf who wants that speed and launch as we sort of described then, a little bit of forgiveness. Let me know your thoughts guys. New Mizuno range, this is something you'd probably look at if you're looking at a set of irons. If you've got the 900s, would you look to switch into the 919 straight away, or is it a little bit too close in terms of a newer model out from what you've got? Be interesting to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. If you're enjoying the videos, obviously do hit that subscribe button. Very much appreciate it. It allows me to do much more videos for you guys and hopefully different videos. So, you know, do hit that subscribe button. Very much appreciated. And if you want to be one of the very first to watch it, hit that bell icon also. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and hopefully I'll catch up with you all very soon.